Salt Pond Watchers, the most amazing group of dedicated individuals who've been monitoring the salt ponds for some years now. All started at the beginning of the 1980s when we were developing a special area management plan to protect the salt pond region. And we realized that there was no information about what was happening, what was getting better, what was getting worse, and in which pond. So organizing some folks that really lived nearby and cared about it, were out in the pond anyway, to take water quality samples. And that was then accepted after some careful quality control by the state and by the federal government. And eventually the volunteers became a model for the country, for the salt pond, for the volunteer water quality monitoring, the manual of how to do it, how to organize the volunteers, how to set the stations, do the whole thing, was set by EPA as a model for the nation. So the Salt Pond Watchers have now been monitoring the salt ponds from Point Judith to Watch Hill and have an unprecedented length of data showing the trends, both the temperature rise that's been happening as a result of climate change and changes in water quality due to pollution and or changes in the ecology of the ponds. It's a remarkable data set and an extraordinary group of people who really love these resources.
Right. On. One. And, okay, so then we do the...
Well, speaking of the Salt Ponds Coalition, the coalition really started as a group of communities that all had concerns about the ponds, and by forming the Salt Ponds Coalition, we had a coordinated effect in bringing these groups together, not only talking to one another, but being together to share a lot of the common concerns that we have with our ponds. All of the salt ponds have similar problems. Many have individual problems, but by working as this cohesive group, we are able to apply what we learn in Winnapaug Pond to something that may happen in Potter's Pond and so forth, so that we have this coordinated effort to bring folks together. One of our most important tools is information dissemination. Currently, we're working with the University of Rhode Island, the Coastal Resource Management Council, in the Shoreline Change Special Area Management Plan, what we call the Beach SAMP. And this is something that is very important in dealing with storm surge, sea level rise that affects 100% of our salt pond watershed community. So our job here is to bring this information generated by the scientists to be an effective tool for citizens and also municipalities to know the best management practices that they can do to protect not only the salt ponds and the watersheds, but also their own private property and their own safety.
Salt Ponds Coalition really is essential to maintaining the health of the salt ponds in our area. And to be honest, we can't do it without you. We need the support of the citizens in the area and anybody who loves the salt ponds, whether it's through support and membership or whether it's through time. We need you, and we can't do it without you. We've been here for 30 years, and we'd love to be here for many, many more. So please join us and love our salt ponds.
First of all, I'd like to thank everybody for our many years of support of Salt Ponds Coalition. We certainly couldn't do what we do without your support, both financial and also the volunteers. Our pond watchers have 30 years of dedicated service. Sometimes the weather doesn't cooperate, but they're always there, and a big shout out and thank you to our pond watchers. Also, as part of our commitment to the Kettle Pond Center, we have numerous volunteers that support Salt Ponds Coalition by helping at the Fish and Wildlife projects, and that certainly is a big thing to thank folks for as well. We have numerous partners that we work with when we are working on our restoration projects, whether it's shellfish restoration projects. We had many volunteers. Our group of agencies and organizations that we work with to do our breachway work is always a wonderful thing of working together. Our group that we've been doing the breachway work is the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, Save the Bay, the Coastal Resource Management Council, certainly our Salt Ponds Coalition folks, as well as the towns of Charlestown and Westerly. And that group getting together, we've been able to put together a coastwide protection and restoration of our breachways, which is so very important to providing good flushing and clarifying the waters in our coastal salt ponds. I'm hoping with continued support we can continue to do these works. The restoration work at Charlestown Breachway is currently underway, and we are in the process of planning similar projects for dredging the breachways and salt marsh restorations both in Quannacontog and also Winnapaug Ponds. Hopefully that will be coming soon. Our advocacy role is growing. As you know, we are considered the watershed council for the Salt Ponds region, and that has increased our ability to be good advocates for development issues and human practices around the Salt Ponds watershed.